Hello, this is Political Forum for Wednesday, September 12th. Today we welcome Illinois State Senator Elgie Sims, who represents the 17th District, and thank you for appearing on Political Forum.
Thanks for having me.
Senator. I'm Carolyn Day here, board member at CAN TV, and you're watching a live interactive program brought to you as a community service by CAN TV. Be sure to tell your friends that they can also watch the show online at cantv.org/hotline. We welcome your questions and comments for the state senator, and you can call us here at 312-738-1060. During the next 25 minutes, we'll try to get in as many of your questions and calls as possible. Here's the contact information for the 17th District, Illinois State Senator Elgie Sims. The district office is located at 8658 South Cottage Grove, and the number is 773-933-7715. Info at senatorelgiesims.com and www.senatorelgiesims.com. Well, we welcome you.
Well, thanks again.
And the community definitely wants to hear from you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, we put together some questions for you.
Sure.
And you can just jump in and tell us all about it.
Okay.
First, we want to know about the breakdown of the budget and the progress that's been made this year regarding Chicago State.
Sure. Well, Caroline, as you know, we had a more than 700-day budget impasse, and finally, let me applaud my colleagues on both sides of the aisle last year who stood up for communities across this state. I think during the length of time, during the budget impasse, it was often said that we didn't pass a budget, when in reality, we passed a budget every year.
Mm-hmm.
It was the governor who took action to either veto it or say he was going to veto it so that the budget would not pass. So we went from when the governor took office to about $6 billion in old bills to $16 billion at the height of the budget crisis. But we finally got colleagues on both sides of the aisle to stand up and stand with us so we could pass a budget that would stop the bleeding. And what we found was, particularly for institutions across the state, institutions like Chicago State and Olive Harvey and all of our schools and health facilities and the like, they were suffering. And now we're back on the road to stability. But what's always interesting to me is the revisionist history that goes on, where individuals act as though they're now taking victory laps as if they didn't cause the crisis in the first place. And we're going to keep working. It's what my constituents sent me to Springfield to do, which is work on their behalf and care about the things they care about. So I'm very proud of the work that we're doing for the communities that I represent, the south and southeast sides of the city of Chicago, and the southern suburbs and rural Will and Kankakee County. They might not all agree on every issue, but what they agree on is making sure that their children have opportunities, they have great jobs, they can support themselves and their families, and their communities are safe. And those are issues that are universal.
Okay, thank you. I just want to clarify here that the youth and employment and after-school programs, there was like $14 million?
Oh, yeah.
So is this new money? Or?
No, that's new money. Unfortunately, so I think sometimes people forget that the executive branch executes the issues that the legislative branch puts forth. So we put money in the budget last year and for youth employment and after school programming, and the governor chose not to spend it. So what we did this year was put the money back in, and as a requirement, as part of the negotiation process, we required him to spend it. So we can't just put the money in place and then not have him not spend it. So that just exacerbates the problem. So we want to make sure that the monies were actually spent.
Great.
So that's new money.
That's great. That's great. So we're talking about increasing competitiveness on the Illinois businesses. So that's we see here there's a Bill 3285 on Illinois Homegrown Business Opportunity Act that was signed into law this summer. So what's that about?
Well, so my district, the district I represent, starts in the city, goes down the Illinois-Indiana border, and southern border is in rural Kankakee County. Momence is my southern border. And what we are finding is businesses along the borders, they're being attacked by businesses in Indiana. So it's the same as in the northern part of the state, businesses on the Wisconsin side. Wisconsin makes it a point to actively try to recruit businesses and opportunities from Illinois. I don't know if you've seen the billboards where they have billboards on Illinois highways saying, come to Wisconsin, locate your business in Wisconsin. So it does not make sense that when you have that kind of environment, Illinois wouldn't have a strategy to protect businesses that are already located here in Illinois. So this was a bill that I worked through. I started it when I was still a member of the House, and eventually when I got over to the Senate, continued to work on it, we got the bill through the Senate and got the bill through the House, and the governor signed it into law. So now business owners, they have enough to focus on. They have to focus on running their businesses. They have to focus on providing opportunities for their communities and the people that work for them. They don't have time to try to figure out resources that are available from the state. So this bill now requires that the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, which is one of our state agencies, will specifically have a plan for making sure that businesses along border towns and across the state are competitive, but also would have resources set aside so business owners can go and have a one-stop shop and figure out what kind of opportunities are there for my business so that we can be successful.
Great. That's good to know. So efforts to reduce violence in Chicago. It says here that you've been working to increase employment, lower gun violence in the city. I think is that a part of Bill 3256, so 72-hour waiting?
So they go hand in hand. So I don't believe that any one bill can solve all of our problems. It has to be a holistic approach to addressing the issues that are happening in our community. So what we've tried to do is put together a strategy that targets opportunity and creates opportunities for people across the community. So one of the bills that you referenced was a 72-hour waiting period, and that allows us to make sure that individuals who are maybe a threat to themselves or others, they have a cooling off period. So what we found is there's a 3-day waiting period for handguns. But if you wanted to buy an assault rifle, you could walk in and buy an assault rifle and get the assault rifle within 24 hours. Just didn't make sense. The FBI just came out with a study recently that confirms what all of us knew, which is assault rifles are much more deadly than other guns, and they are guns that are typically used in mass shootings. So if we're going to protect our communities, we need to make sure that we are providing opportunities for individuals who may be a threat for themselves or others to take a step back and fully think about the consequences of their actions. And that's what that bill does. That bill puts in place that 72-hour waiting period, that cooling off period. So, but in addition to the cooling off period for the individual, it allows the gun seller to provide and do a complete and more thorough background check. So if you're doing a background check on someone within 24 hours, you may not be able to do as thorough a job as you could do in 72 hours. So it provides protections on both ends, from the seller and for the purchaser.
Now I heard that, and I thought this was really interesting, that you're supporting a bill about breastfeeding. Wait a minute, let me find that. I think it's Bill 3503 and 5745. What's
Absolutely.
going on with that?
Well, it doesn't make sense to me that we wouldn't have safe, clean, private opportunities for mothers to feed their children and or express breast milk. When my wife was, after she'd had both of our kids, I know she works in a court building, and she would have to look for opportunities to express breast milk. But oftentimes you were finding situations where women would have to breastfeed their babies in bathrooms or express their breast milk in bathrooms. I don't know about neither one of us, I could assume, would not want to eat our dinner in a bathroom. So I wouldn't expect that a child would want to eat their food in a bathroom either. So the lactation bill requires that each courthouse across Illinois would have to set aside a room. They don't have to create a new room, they have to build a new room, they have to incur new cost. But they would have to have a dedicated room set aside for lactation, so that that room is clean, it's private, and it's convenient. It has to have running water. So it just can't be a closet, but it has to be a room where it takes into consideration that the needs of the child and the mother. So it provides them the opportunity so the mother can lactate and have the express breast milk in complete privacy. The other bill recognizes that mothers have challenges that come with childbirth, and if the mother has been called for jury duty or wants to participate in the process, oftentimes if they're breastfeeding, they don't have the opportunity to fully participate. So that bill will allow, if a mother is breastfeeding or has challenges, they then will be able to petition the court to say, recognize that I want to complete my civic duty, but I have challenges that make that not convenient right now, not possible right now. Doesn't mean I won't do it in the future. Just means that I need to take that step back right now and choose my family over my civic duty at this moment. Doesn't mean it's going to happen forever. So they can go back and engage in their civic duty at a later time.
Okay. You're watching Political Forum, a community service of CAN-TV, and I am Carolyn Day here, board member. And this is a live interactive show. We're talking with Illinois State Senator Elgie Sims. If you have any questions for the state senator, feel free to call 312-738-1060. You can also reach the senator at 8658 South Cottage Grove at 773-933-7715. info@senatorlgsims.com or www.senatorlgsims.com. Now, Senator, are you from Chicago?
I am born and raised.
Oh, well, let's see. Maybe our viewers want to know a little bit about you and
Sure.
something maybe folks don't know.
Born and raised on the south side. I grew up in the West Pullman neighborhood. So when I was going to elementary school, it was at the height of the CPS busing controversies, and I remember as a young child, I was in the 4th grade, and my mom went to parent teacher presentation in the auditorium. It was a parent teacher meeting in the auditorium, and I just remember a lot of yelling and screaming. And I remember going home that night. My father comes home. My mother and father were talking about it, and we're at the dinner table. And my dad asked my mother, what happened at the meeting, and she said she was explaining to my father what happened. And my father never looked up from his dinner. He said, "You know what? Take my kids out of that school and put them in Catholic school." And from that day till the day we graduated, we went to Catholic school. So I actually I went to what was Quigley South. It was a seminary. It was a high school seminary. I had the thoughts of being a priest. My mother often says that I thought about being a priest till I got a good look at girls. But I left Quigley South and then went on to Illinois State University, where I got my bachelor's degree and actually met my wife, and went from there to Springfield, where I worked on the Senate Democratic staff for about 10 years. 8 of those 10 years as their budget director. So during that time, I had the opportunity to be mentored by some tremendous public servants, some tremendous community leaders, including the former Senate President Emil Jones, who'd been a longtime friend and mentor of mine, recently retired former Assistant Majority Leader Senator Don Trotter, again, who I've been blessed enough to be mentored by him for over the years, and I'm honored and humbled to succeed him in the Illinois State Senate. And I got a chance to get to know a young man named Barack Obama, who went on to do a couple of things after he left the Illinois State Senate.
Very good, very good. So I hear that there's something happening at a facility that's going to be erected somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on?
Well, we have been doing some tremendous things in the community lately. I am so proud of the work that we've done. Within the last several weeks, we have announced over $100 million worth of capital improvements that are happening in the 17th district. The project that you have up is the Gately Park Stadium. It's the Gately Park Stadium. It's going to be a first of its kind high school facility for indoor track, and not only is it going to be a facility for athletic activities, it's going to be a facility where young people have mentoring opportunities. After School Matters is partnering with us to make sure that programming is there for young people to be supported, and it is really going to be a fantastic facility. Young people who want to engage in track and field will have a state-of-the-art facility unlike anything in the country that they've ever seen. So I am so happy and proud that the 17th district is going to be home to that facility. It's going to be an amazing facility when it's complete.
Wonderful. I understand that you're an advocate for persons with disabilities.
Absolutely.
And people with disabilities. So do you think that that facility will be inclusive of that?
Well, I'm sure. There will be the activities at that facility. There are going to be a number of activities for people with disabilities. They're going to be a number of services that will be available. It really is going to be a tremendous. It's state of the art, but it really is going to be a tremendous facility for the south and southeast sides of the city of Chicago.
Wonderful. I understand we have a caller. Caller, are you there?
Yes, good evening. I have a question for the senator. Is there a way that the state can get involved in improving the police and community relations within the city of Chicago, and also, I guess, in other cities, in the state? Because it seems there's always in the news that there's some obviously people who don't agree with what the police are doing, in terms of trying to make sure that the people are arrested for crimes.
Caller, a very timely question. When we were off camera, we were just talking about some of the work that I've been doing with police and community relations improvement. We've passed several years ago, first in the nation model legislation that was designed to improve community and police relations. We wanted to make sure that communities feel protected and served, and law enforcement feels and understands that they are there to protect and serve, but they don't feel under siege. So we took great pains to work together with law enforcement, with community groups, to pass that legislation. As part of that legislation, we also created a commission on police professionalism. And that commission is specifically set out to talk about issues related to the profession of policing. And that's just what it is. It's a profession. And part of the discussion was about us making sure that law enforcement officers see the communities that they protect and serve as customers, and the communities that are being protected and served see law enforcement as their partners and not occupiers. And we've done a great job of working with them. Are we there yet? No. But we're going to continue to work together with the community and with law enforcement to make sure we are providing and making sure that the profession works in hand with the community. So we are working hard every day to work on those issues. And I just met today with the Illinois State Police and about the Commission on Police Professionalism, and we'll be having a meeting up here coming up in the very near future. Thanks for the question, caller.
Thank you, caller. The community wants to hear about the Transportation and Distribution Center at Olive Harvey.
Well, again, that's part of those $100 million in projects that have come to the 17th district recently. We've got to be forward thinking in our focus on economic development. Recently, just yesterday, one of our larger employers in the pharmaceutical industry, Takeda, announced they were moving their 1,000 employees to Boston, Massachusetts. So we've got to have a focus on economic development that invest in areas where we know jobs are going to be. Part of what, in my mind, makes for good policy is you can't just recognize what's happening today, but you have to look at what's going to be coming tomorrow. And the Transportation Distribution and Logistics Center recognizes the jobs of tomorrow, and it's going to prepare students from not just the community where I represent, but communities across the city of Chicago and across the south suburban areas for those jobs of the future. That's why you see FedEx investing in that center. You see the City College of Chicago having a program specifically for transportation, distribution, and logistics. Amazon have a huge facility in south suburbs, and I would venture to guess not a lot of folks know that those facilities are there. But those are the jobs of the future, and that center is going to prepare students for those jobs. It was a little frustrating, I will admit. The project construction started and stopped several times. There were challenges with the administration, with the state administration, where would not allow funds to go forward. But we worked together with the city of Chicago to make sure that the project continued to move forward, and we eventually got the project to move forward. And we did a tour recently. Construction is moving along, and in the spring of 2019, I fully expect it to be open and ready for business.
Good. Thank you. You're watching CAN TV, and we're speaking today with Illinois State Senator Elgie Sims of the 17th District. We welcome your calls and comments at 312-738-1060. Senator, is there anything pressing that you want to share about the upcoming elections?
Well, participate. You cannot complain if you don't participate. What I like to see is everyone. I would always like to see 100% voter participation. It's when we have voter apathy is when you see challenges arise and you see issues arise, you see concerns arise. But we vote for the government that we get the government we vote for, and if we don't participate, that's when we don't have the government that we want. And so I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited. I'm out every day talking to voters and talking to people about what the upcoming election and what's going to happen and hearing their concerns. And that's my favorite part of the job. My favorite part of the job is being out engaging my constituents, talking to them about their concerns, because I can't represent them fully if I don't know what their concerns are. And I really enjoy that. That's to hear constituents say to me, you came by my house. This is not the first time you've been here. Do you do this often? Mm-hmm. To hear them say things like that means a lot to me. Mm-hmm. Because that means they get to know me. They get to know me beyond being on these types of programs or mm-hmm. seeing something on in the newspaper, on the internet. Mm-hmm. That's personal. They get the one-on-one time with me, mm-hmm. and that means a lot to me. Yeah. Because I want them to know that I'm their voice in Springfield.
Yeah. And so do you hear that same commonality amongst, when you said moments, mm-hmm. of the same constituents, even though we're here in Chicago, you're covering everybody. Sure. So you hear that same commentary.
Well, I hear the same commentary. Again, there are areas where my political beliefs differ with others, mm-hmm. but my responsibility, and it's, as you said, my title is State Senator. Mm-hmm. So my responsibility is not just to represent the people who agree with me, but also to give voice to the people who don't. Yeah. And so I enjoy going to different parts of the district. I do. We've done office hours throughout the district, not just in the city. So we've been to Peatone, we've been to Moments, we've been to Grant Park, we've been to Beecher, We've been all throughout the district listening to the concerns of constituents so that they know that I'm there for them, but also that they know I'm going to represent their issues.
That's good. That's good. Thank you. Well, Senator, we have just a few more minutes, and we're going to see if there's a caller really quickly. I think there was a caller. Yes, caller, are you there?
Hello. Yes, I want to know the senator's thoughts on Rom's decision to not run for mayor. Thank you.
Well, I think like most people, I was shocked. I didn't expect the mayor to not seek re-election. I thought he was going to really to run for a third term. What I'm looking for in a successor to Mayor Emanuel is someone who's going to be an advocate for the city of Chicago. I want to see the city grow. As I mentioned, the loss of Takeda, I'd like to see businesses continue to see Chicago as a destination, but I'd also like to see investments in communities and in the neighborhoods. I'm very proud of that $100 million, more than $100 million that's been dedicated to our community recently. But we're not done. We're going to continue to invest in the community, and we're going to continue to make sure that not just those capital improvements, but others are done. And so that's what I'm going to be looking for from Mayor Emanuel's successor, someone who has that same drive, someone who sees the city of Chicago as a place that is beyond compare around the world. It's a global destination. I've traveled internationally several times, and I enjoy having conversations with people around the world about the city of Chicago and how beautiful it is and how great of a city it is. And I want to make sure that our next mayor has those same thoughts.
Yeah, thank you. So this is definitely an opportunity for Chicago to see great things in the upcoming elections. There's potential there to have the first time a new mayor and a new governor at the same time. So, Senator Sims, we thank you for appearing here on Political Forum, and we thank you, viewers, for your calls and viewing. Our telephone technician has been Sylvia, and Political Forum is brought to you as a community service by CAN TV. Please join us every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. at CAN TV, and you can also access at cantv.org/hotline. And good night.